The Hillary Clinton treatment. Let's take a look.
If Trump could secure the same identical circumstances that were granted to Hillary Clinton, then why not sit down for the interview and answer the questions? But of course, I speak facetiously because everybody knows that Donald Trump is not going to get the Hillary Clinton treatment extended by James Comey.
You know, not under oath, not recorded, pretty much meaningless. Send in a pro-Trump person like Peter Strzok interviewed Hillary. You know, that's right. If we have a fair system of justice, President Trump should absolutely get the Hillary treatment for any interview with the FBI. And just like Hillary Clinton's interview, after the exoneration was written months later, well, Trump's interview should be conducted not under oath, not recorded, not be transcribed, and the exoneration written months in advance. And oh yeah, someone with a pro-Trump bias, let's say me, I'll conduct the questioning. Now, if Hillary Clinton, how about Rush or the great one, Mark Levin? Good idea. Now, if he gets the Clinton treatment, anti-Trump FBI agent Peter Strzok for the interview, maybe, I don't know, we have a good choice of people. Lots of conservatives that can interview him. All right, none of this is ever going to happen. We know that. We now know, sadly, in America, we have a two-tier justice system. We don't have equal justice under the law, equal application of our laws. While the president is targeted in a totally off-the-rails witch hunt, Hillary Clinton, James Comey, Andrew McCabe, all these other deep state actors have never been charged with a crime, despite mountains of evidence that we have. For example, despite her total exoneration from the FBI, our friend, Fox News legal analyst Greg Jarrett, who will join us tonight, he has revealed multiple serious crimes that Hillary Clinton should be charged with, starting with 18 U.S.C. 793, mishandling, destroying classified documents, 18 U.S.C. 1505, the obstruction of justice. Remember, bleach bit, deleted emails, busting up devices. No charges over the multiple crimes related to her campaign's shady practices surrounding the Steele dossier. Next up, let's look at James Comey. Well, he's not under any criminal investigation as of now. Shouldn't he at least face scrutiny over 18 U.S.C. 641, the theft of government property or records after he took his Trump memos outside of the FBI? What about 18 U.S.C. 1924? The mishandling of classified information. And remember, when James Comey lied to Congress about not signing off on Clinton's exoneration letter months before that interview took place, that's against the law. 18 U.S.C. 1621. And we got Andrew McCabe. House Republicans have now referred McCabe, as did the IG, for multiple crimes over lying to the FBI. And McCabe was fired for lying to the FBI. Let's see. Oh, General Flynn. Why hasn't he been charged with a crime in this case? Now, of course, don't hold your breath for an investigation into Loretta Lynch, Lisa Page, Peter Strzok, or any of these other anti-Trump deep state actors. Now, what's behind this, sadly, in the United States...
Right.
Pretty crazy, huh?
Yes.
Seems to be enough in my book to go ahead with a investigation.
Seems really really blatant, folks, that we had
It's right in front of your face. Right there in front of your face. There's enough there to where at least somebody should be responding to this. So maybe we'll see the response in tonight's news somewhere. I doubt it. And that would tell me that if there is enough evidence, then they won't respond. The rest of MSM will just not say a word.
Well, it's kind of like, you know, Trump's made the deep state a household name. I've heard it for years, tried to explain it to people, because a lot of people have it down to where, you know, they're simple-minded. They want to believe that everything's good and works the way it should.
Yeah.
No, I know that this sports team, these are their players, and over here, this is this team. When they go to play football, they're literally playing against each other. Well, in this politics, we've heard of this deep state, which is like there's people that have the title of Republican and there's people that have the title of Democrat, but they're working together or on, you know, with the same agendas. It's just
there's one big team.
Yes.
And some of them from both sides.
There's a head, and they're just the left hand or the right hand, but there's still this behind the veil type person, possibly. They're working for an agenda, right?
Yeah, again, I'm really hoping that somebody responds to those accusations. But I'll repeat myself one more time. If there's any truth to it, nobody's going to talk about it because that just it brings it to the forefront. So if there's any truth, they're just not going to respond. So it just hopefully goes away.
Well, it's just nuts that, everyone's like, well, Comey, he's a Republican. That's like their defense. Yeah. Well, it's like, well, then why didn't he, if there's all these articles and, you just look past them all. They were all done by Hillary and they were just all an accident. She just slipped, fell, and committed a bunch of crimes.
Yeah, all an accident. But you got to remember that they called, and when I say they, the Democrats called for Comey's firing right up front, and then eventually when Trump did fire him, then they freaked out. Why are you firing him? So you got to kind of wonder, is he one of these guys that was implanted? And so who really knows? But just because somebody has a title of Republican or Democrat doesn't necessarily mean they're not a part of whatever scheme this is, because then if they weren't, then they'd be really bad at whatever it is they're trying to accomplish. You just have to keep in mind that Comey was once wanted to be fired, and then when he was, they were real upset about it. So that should tell you enough to at least get your creative juices flowing.
Yeah. It just.
So and I'm sorry that was Fox. I know there's going to be some. Well, that was Fox News, but the laws are written right there. I mean, those are right out of the law books. That's just one person's perspective. Hannity did repeat that Garrett did find enough that these laws were broken. So if he found enough, isn't there enough there now to at least investigate? I mean, I'm ready for somebody just to repute that. I mean, somehow give me an explanation of why at least those laws that were broken or may be broken aren't being investigated. So
yeah, well, I think, the big, like I've said it, and I'm going to keep saying it until it possibly all comes out this year, hopefully in the courts and this proceedings. But there's another interview, I haven't played it yet, where Obama goes on 60 Minutes on a Sunday in the evening, and they question him about Hillary's server. When did you find out about her rogue server that wasn't, it was in her basement in that house in New York? When the media broke it. That's how Obama said, when the media started reporting on it. Like he's at home watching TV, like, oh wow, she had a
right.
But then with WikiLeaks and Judicial Watch, they filed, and we got all this released email. Hillary Clinton still coming, and they kept seeing repeated names of, well, that don't. And these people are good. They dug backwards and looking at other text and putting the dots together. Oh, this belongs to this person. So they found that Obama had a pseudonym. Once he realized that Hillary had this rogue server, he's like, I'm not going to do it from my Obama.gov. So he creates a pseudonym along with the rest of the.
Did he think we were all that stupid to buy that answer? Well, I found out when y'all found out. You're the leader of the free world. Yep. She is your Secretary of State.
They said all of his cabinet, his personal cabinet, he instructed them to get pseudonyms.
Yeah.
And that's the only way you email her. So now, if Hillary would have literally ended up in the courts or sitting there indicted, she would have squilled. That was probably her trump card. Well, if I go down, Obama, all you and all
all be in the news.
Yeah.
Right?
Now, whether or not Obama would have been found guilty or any of the other, Hillary herself or any of the other people, we don't know because it never got that far. But that's where they blocked it. That's where they had to block it.
You remember
that's where the order came down.
Yeah. You remember the Highlight magazine? Or when you were second, third, fourth grade where you had to connect the dots?
Yes.
I almost feel like, oh my God, there's fourth graders that are putting this
together.
Yes,
I mean, that's how blatant it is.
It's so obvious. There's at least enough, so.
Well, even on that note, so what if, they, you just hit the nail on the head with that, and I don't, so they didn't want to take her down for the email crime. They didn't want to pursue that because it would have led to other people. So they just sweep it under the rug. And then we go on this witch hunt with, like we said before, repeatedly, no evidence, hoping to find something.
But they didn't want to investigate her because of the domino effect. There was too many people, and what they
That's
spin
huge.
that. I remember a couple of the big media outlets were saying the FBI is worried, about national security. If we, if this comes out, then there's going to be a lot of information
We would
that
lose trust in the
right.
establishment.
So they spin it around like, please believe that we're only doing this to protect you people. I mean, they have so many people dumbfounded, like, we really want to tell you, but if we do, you won't know how to handle it, and then you won't trust us, and then we won't be able to, there'll be uprisings, but, I mean, that is the most idiotic spin I ever heard before. There's guilt there. Go ahead and show us, transparency is... What do we hear on the radio today at work? Transparency is like the sun, with bacteria.
Yeah.
The sun kills bacteria. We want a DOJ, an FBI, a White House. We want the Congress and Senate. We want transparency. We get that you can't know everything because of national security, but eventually all things should come out.
Yeah, that's only during when they're operational.
Right.
If they come out on the news and say at live time, then other nations are watching. We know that.
Right.
And then they know. And then it's like, well, they said tomorrow at noon they're invading us.
Right.
Oh my
But
God.
5 or 10 years down the road, like the whole JFK thing, there's no reason at all that this can't come out
as quick as it can be. It never should be 100. Well, we want to make sure every single person involved is dead.
Yeah.
Well, that's a little rough.
Well, then there's no emotional tie. Like I told you, the whole JFK thing.
Yeah, it's history at that
If they
point.
wait
You're
long
reading
enough, there's nobody alive that even cares
Yeah,
anymore. Like if they came out with the truth now, how many 20-year-olds will be like, "Oh man, I can't believe they did."
Yeah,
They
and on the
wouldn't.
day that should be released 100 years down the road, these people forward are like, well, let's just push that off another 100. Yeah, why not?
Right.
All in favor? Yeah.
Pretty
nobody even
bummed.
cries for it anymore.
Yeah.
So, well, on that note, we know that on the Hillary thing, what about the fact that, James Comey, head of the FBI at the time, goes to meet with Loretta Lynch, head of the Department of Justice, right? Is that
Conflict of interest.
Well, I don't know if that's a DOJ. So, well, isn't the FBI under the DOJ? That's his boss. That was that his.
Well, the Department of Justice, not only so the FBI will find and investigate, and then the courts will prosecute.
Okay.
So it all intertwines.
So when they went and met, I don't know if she was above him. I don't know how that worked. Where he went to brief her, and he said, "Well, during this investigation," she goes, "Oh, by the way, let's call that a matter."
Right.
And he testified on that a year ago that he said, now, he kind of like he did on Trump, where Trump had him in the room. He's like, I hope you could see to find your way to let Michael Flynn go.
Right.
And he's like, that sat with me really weird.
I was
and,
uncomfortable.
My stomach.
I'm the leader of the FBI, but I'm
I got
uncomfortable.
queasy.
Yeah.
I had nightmares. But he didn't do it.
Right.
So he tried to present that Trump was trying to make him do something. Hey, is that collusion or obstruction, you guys?
Sure.
But you didn't follow through. You didn't go to nobody at the time. Here it is this time later. But then he talks about Loretta Lynch doing the same thing.
And
but he did
softened
go
it
with
up.
that one.
Right. He softened it
He
up.
took hers, and he said it was weird. He didn't know why. But why did you do it then?
Well, he was.
You don't listen to the president of the United States.
Yeah.
But you listen to this person. Well, she's my boss, or what? I mean, I don't know why.
How did he get in position? What dirt do they have on him? I mean, if you want to say you're nervous in front of the President of the United States, I would be. You would be. Most of our listeners would be. Most people would be. But you're the leader of the FBI.
Yes.
You know how to investigate, interrogate, get solutions, get answers, find information.
Not so much him, because we know he's got none of them things.
You're not worried about Donald Trump. He should be one of the easiest people for you to dissect because he's so open with his emotions and who he is. So I
find it
that
odd.
to be,
I find it odd too. Taking away anything that we can't validate. He's got dirt on him. The Clintons had and years ago, and they presented it to him, and that's why possibly. But taking all that out, just looking at the actions that he's done.
Yeah. So when they asked him,
Doesn't
why
make sense.
do you feel Trump fired you? Well, I have an answer. You got on live TV just a day or two after interviewing him, or when all this came up, and said, I was uncomfortable around him. I didn't know how to handle myself. You just gave evidence of why you should not be the head of the FBI. I don't need a coward, a guy that, he's scared. you just gave all the evidence I needed. I mean, that'd be like an employee walking in and go, well, Scott, I'm not sure I can make it every day. And
when he talked about
on
this
time.
loyalty stuff, like, you know, he kept asking me about my loyal, am I gonna be loyal? He wanted my loyal. Is it him, or was he talking about the country wanted loyalty?
Right.
Are you gonna be loyal to the USA?
Right.
Not to yourself or to these group of people.
Or you're packed. Like
Yeah.
that you find yourself. And I bet he started his career a great guy. I bet he did. You know,
I think what made him feel queasy, if we want to get into some of my conspiracy or my own opinion, is when Trump presented himself alone, it was probably the look of like, I know what you've been doing, I know what you're up to, who you're
Gotcha.
part of, blah 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 blah.
I'm gonna write a book. I'm out of here.
And it
I'm
made
gonna-
you
yeah.
feel queasy and
Yeah.
hot in a hot flash because
Right.
of the guilt and the things you've been doing.
And on the other side, they said same thing, similar. You know, we've been a part of this with you. Make sure you soften it up for us. You know, it was a matter, but when you get in, you know, you go in there and interview Trump, make sure you're hostile
Yeah.
with your response to the media. And I gotta believe now that I see Comey, and I haven't sat in front of him face to face. I think I got a good read on people. Trump's a very strong man. He's a very good negotiator. I bet he just chewed Comey up with very little words. I bet he didn't scream and yell and freak out on him. I bet he just owned the room. Trump
yeah.
seems to be that guy. I know a lot of people don't like him or think opposite of what I'm trying to say, but I guess basically Comey walked in that room and like you said, Trump had all this on him. Plus he's Trump. He wins, you know, and I don't mean that metaphorically because that was what he ran on, but his whole life he enters rooms with CEOs and powerful people and he gets successful deals done. And now you're Comey coming out telling the rest of us, I was skimmish, I was this, I was nervous. I know Trump whooped you. He whooped you, he took you behind the shed and just beat the hell out of you. So now this is easy for you to spin the other way because you don't have a friend that way. So now you're going to go back and you're going to protect the other side. And we're not stupid to it. I'm connecting the dots like a fourth grader.
Oh yeah.
Trump whooped you. You're embarrassed. Now you're writing a book. You're making your money right before you're either prosecuted or before the world forgets about you. Because in one more year, your name is garbage.
It's garbage.
You'll never work again.
That's exactly what I'm thinking, folks. It's unbelievable. The
Audacity, is that the word I'm looking for? I mean, the
audacity
of this man to think prior to walking in and meet and talking with Trump. Now, if you listen to people that dislike Trump, but also at the same time say they respect him, they'll tell you, man, you don't want to sit across the boardroom from him. He will chew you up because he's a man of numbers and logic and fact. You know, you can't be a winner by shooting from the hip.
Yeah.
And if he's been shooting from the hip his whole life, he wouldn't be where he's at now. He is a matter of fact. He looks 10 years in advance. You know, he's got a plan.
That's the difference of. So our last several politicians, I can say that now. We can even look at Bush and Obama, not just bang up on Obama. I'll take it back one more to Bush, and we can even go back one more to Clinton.
Yeah.
But they sat there, promised everybody all these things. Numbers didn't quite get better. How do they look at it? They go to the books and be like, well, if we change like unemployment to where when you run out, that's considered back to work, maybe. Yeah, we do that. Oh my God, yeah, do it. Yeah,
The numbers got a lot better.
So they move numbers, and it's not their interest. Now Trump would never do that with his own company. Like, oh, I'm gonna loss. What if I move this and just move numbers? Oh, wow. You know, I mean, it looks good or something. It looks dumb. You'd make physical changes to bring your numbers up. You would do real things.
He doesn't strike me he strikes me for the type of guy that today he's worried. He's in the White House or wherever he's at right now, thinking about 16 months from now, 28 months from now, 10 years from now. I mean, he understands you don't get successful, especially when you've been in a rut with our economy or, you know, some of our trade plans or whatever it is. You ain't going to get out of this tomorrow morning. He's trying to instill in the people, give me some time, you know, give me a little bit of time. And I'm sure, there's no doubt in my mind.
Well, he's got to drain the swamp. This draining of the swamp isn't as easy. See, if he did it in the way he wanted to, it would look Napoleonish.
Like a tyrant.
Yeah, like everyone's already trying to make him look out.
All these
to
executive orders, you're out. You
got the media standing up for each one of these people that they shoot. They even cry for to fire.
Correct.
And then when he does, oh my God, he did it. We egged it on so he'd do it, and now he's done it. It's just opposite.
I think that's
he
the
said
biggest
he
point.
He couldn't feed the hunger without being wrong.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
If he walked on water, when I say
gave
the
him
one that,
McDonald's.
oh, he can't swim.
Yeah.
That's what they would report. Trump's walking on water because he doesn't know how. They don't know how to handle it. I really just believe that he's on the right track. He's just waiting for enough people to start opening their eyes. Because if he's a tyrant, he won't be reelected, and nothing good will come from any of this. So he's being patient. He's looking at 2, 4, 8, 12, 16, all down the road. Good thinkers and successful people aren't trying to make their zillions of dollars tomorrow.
Yes. And I get it. A lot of people like myself, Scott, we've gone around to our local legions and debated and argued, lost friends, pissed off family, right? I mean, doing this, talking about it. Yeah. But it's like, this has been going on for a long time. It's,
these people want instant gratification.
Yes, there's a lot of people like us that want, Trump got in on this day, he should have been arresting these people. Well, how do you go around the world fighting evil without becoming evil? It's a real hard thing to do. People are like, I'm going to go around, kill all these evil, cut their heads off, start wearing their ears as necklaces, and you're like, whoa, you're sounding pretty evil yourself.
Yeah, man.
So that's why we got the Q. They're not really giving us any classified. They're pointing us and organically, not trying to break any laws, not trying to be leakers themselves.
If you looked at it at a graph, I think we're steadily doing this.
Yes, that's what it is.
That's
it's setting
success.
The stage, he said.
You don't just ramp up, you gradually, because then you start capturing more people that might be on the other side. They're going, oh, man.
If this is all correct, if that's what happened, like Comey, Lynch, McCabe, all these people were plotting against Trump. I'm hearing through certain channels in the 4chan even deep that they came, this last batch, they're holding on. Congress has assassination plots. That was, and that's huge, but they're like, we can't just dump this right now. It'll create
chaos,
so
it's a
we don't know.
It's a cover up of the Russian collusion. Right now we got to smash this Russian collusion, and it's got to happen.
We know certain people are flipped and they're working for the Trump team or the Q team. They're embedded. The stage is being set for all the retribution of true payback. I think it's all being set. That we're starting to see the drops of the Comey indictment, or they're going to do an investigation. Hillary, McCabe, all them people. So that's a positive.
Chapter 2 and 3 has already been written. We just got to get to the end of chapter 1.
They got to still drain these key people. It's a highly embedded system that's been around for a long time.
Yep.
And man, they fire one person and they find out another. Hell, through the Q post, we still see like they didn't want Trump's investigation to be over yet. For some reason, that wasn't part of the plan.
It's to suck more information out of key people.
But they had a bad actor. They said,
"What are you doing here? Why are you? It's a game of double agency. It's a game of what do you know that I need to know."
Yeah, that was keeping they liked that cover of the investigation on. We hated it.
Yeah.
But maybe they were liking it.
Well, we're the crowd, right? We're at a movie. We're watching.
Yeah,
we love the plot, but now it's getting to the point where I'm out of popcorn. I need a refill.
It's one of them bad movies almost that goes on too long, where it's like that middle part of it's like, when's the downfall or the bad guys go down?
Yeah. You got to the middle, and there was a half hour of that part of the movie sucked, but all in all, it was a 4-star movie. I think we're at that point. If you want to use a metaphor, we're at that point where it's about to get fun. And we're going to end on a good note, and then there's going to be a sequel, and the sequel is, the next, once this whole collusion thing is finally smashed. I don't know that we can move forward until that is definitely brought up in court, and so I hope that this Mueller situation with the questions, I hope it just backfires and becomes embarrassing on him, and then he has to say, you know what, I was coerced into doing this, I'm tired of it, we're wasting too much valuable resources, there's a lot of things I could be doing. And this group of deep state or implants or whatever you want to call them convinced me or has dirt on me. I just give up. Somebody needs to be credible and honest and go, I can't do this anymore. So as soon as that happens, we can get on to the sequel. And the sequel is going to be where most of us are sitting there applauding going, okay, we've accomplished a lot in the first year and a half. Let's get on.
Yeah, I agree.
Anyway.
All right, we're about at the 25-minute mark, so we could wrap it up.
Mikey will come back with some Q drops hopefully tonight.
Yeah,
I won't be around for a couple of days, so you'll do some Q updates. I can't believe there hasn't been any, but somebody's busy doing something.
We got a let's read
Oh, you want to do some reading?
just a couple. Go ahead and read that.
The questions are in intrusion into the president's Article 2 powers under the Constitution to fire any executive branch employee. What the president was thinking is an outrageous as to the president's unfettered power to fire anyone. Joe, I am not going to even try.
Dinavo.
Yeah, former U.S.
Nova.
attorney. We will show the whole world how proud we are to be American. That's it. It's so wrong to be proud anymore. We always say that it's taboo.
The questions are in intrusion into the president's Article 2 powers under the Constitution to fire.
Basically, what
any-
he's doing is setting Trump up to where if he doesn't, if he uses his powers, he's basically setting him up. He's daring him to do it so he can say, "See, you can't get anything done without being a tyrant." So. I think that goes back to what we were talking about. We don't want him to be a tyrant. We don't want him to use executive orders too much if he doesn't have to, but at some point he may have to.
This is the last one here. A rigged system. They don't want to turn over documents to Congress. What are they afraid of? Why so much redacting? Why such unequal justice? At some point, I will have no choice but to use the powers granted. You read that in the last one, didn't you?
Yeah.
To the presidency to get involved. So that's him talking about
See,
using.
that's
He
the
could, but he
that's the
doesn't want
setup.
to.
That's the setup.
They're trying to push him
They're
into that.
daring him to do it, so it makes him look bad.
Oh,
He's
yeah.
not stupid. He's the best negotiator probably on the planet. So, I don't know. I'm going to stay tuned. I'm going to keep watching. But good for him. He acknowledges it. He knows. They're trying to set him up. We'll see what happens.
All right, folks, this was the second little TPH, the Patriot Hour update. We looked for Q, nothing new.
Maybe tomorrow.
Look again, maybe later tonight, maybe tomorrow, but whenever they're here, we'll do them. Other than that, we're going to keep digging, keep pushing, fighting for freedoms, liberties.
That's right. Protect those rights. Ring the bell.
Ring
Make
the
a comment.
bell, comment, drop us a line. We love the comment section. It really gets the conversation going for everybody, so we appreciate it. Also, take note of we're nearing the 20K, so we definitely, when we do, it's
Special
just a matter of
episode
when.
Coming. We'll get Nate back in here. And do
we
a
might
thank
hold
you.
off a few days just to make it a workout to get, definitely Nate,
Yeah.
maybe Ben. We'll see whoever can.
excited.
We'll do a little special
Yeah, both of
appreciation for you guys. So, all right, thanks. This is a Patriot Hour. I'm Mike,
Scott,
and we'll see you guys here real soon.
God bless.
God bless.